Can you film what's your like?
Mate, film everything. Film all the setting up. Film the bits that aren't necessary. Don't add any story.
Just right. Okay. Once it's filming though, I can't actually.
You can't focus it.
No.
Ah, never mind. Turn it off.
Great. There's a metronome track. And it's recording it. Go away. Right. Get the clap.
Turn the right one first.
This is a shambles.
Yeah! Clap away.
I thought I was going to drop.
Fucking idiot. Yeah.
So, in it, we's here to talk about
our Lord and Saviour, cheesy rice. Is that a thing? I want that to be a thing now. Mate, cheesy, eggy, like mushroom rice.
Wait,
like
no, the Chinese do that, don't they?
Yeah, but did they have like cheese
I don't know.
rice?
What about crab rangoon?
What about crab rangoon? Oh, fuck's sake, right, we haven't really planned this video, but we wanted to do another review, because it's been like, mate, it's been like months since we've done anything.
Probably like nearly a year.
Mate, I don't even know.
We've lost track of time.
Or time has lost track of us.
That's so lame.
Yeah, it's pretty lame. Alright, so we are doing a review of Mastodon's new album. I don't even know, when did they bring it out? I don't know. They brought it out at some point this year, I think.
Yeah.
Mate, we're halfway through the year. Fuck. I don't know, I think that's mad. You're there like...
I think that's pretty mad.
Well, you just didn't react. Anyway, so we're doing this review, yeah? It's going to be sick. It's going to be full of so many review things.
It's cool. So, it's for the album Emperor
What
Sand.
was that? It was like a robot. It's like bleep blop.
Bleep blop. Mastodon.
Mate, so yeah, Mastodon's new album, Emperor Sand. I forgot what it's called then. What?
Emperor of Ting.
Emperor of Tings. Mate. Alright, anyway, so yeah, it's pretty... The album artwork's different, like they used to use the same guy I think for a number of years, but now they just seem to be doing whatever. But it's a cool album artwork.
Yeah, it's very different from like Oblivion, Blood Mountain, that sort of style.
Trippy shit. But yeah, it looks like a proper like metal album, and it is. I love it. The last two albums, I was a bit. They were going all this poppy stuff, and they have some really good songs, but it's kind of. Yeah, not as good as Crack the Sky and Blood Mountain and things like that, where it's just so weirdly proggy, and that's the most interesting shit they do.
Yeah, you find with this one they've gone back more. Well, it sounds more like their roots because they've got some of the gnarly stuff that they had in like.
What they've done is they've managed to get everything from all their areas of like the changes in sound and mix it all together. You know, stuff like Leviathan, kind of weird sounding shit. And then
Blood Mountain,
the hooks from there, the proggy stuff, but it does sound really poppy. Like there's some songs on there. That
I think like Steambreather kind of reminds me a little bit of like March of the Fire Ants, sort of that kind of heavy down tune stuff. But then the drums are like really light and they're not fast or anything. They're just
and then the singing comes in,
yeah,
and it just changes the vibe up. Like it starts off quite heavy, but then they change the vibe up so much just by doing these different things. And I mean things like Show Yourself is so poppy, but then you've got like Andromeda and Clandestiny. Oh man, the hooks. The thing is that I find with some of the other albums they've done, the hooks have been like Once More Around the Sun. Almost all the hooks for me were the vocals, whereas the music wasn't as hooky as much.
Yeah, but you get some really cool like.
But this is like the music as well. Some of the riffs really do drag you in, and then the vocals on top of it.
And there's still some quite spacey feelings as well, like some of the stuff that they were doing back in. Crack the Sky. You still got some of that kind of space feeling, and you got like, was it the drummer doing all his like things with the
bells and whistles, mate? Yeah, the bells and whistles, just everything on it. But it works so well, just having the chimes or whatever going off, popping chimes are popping, mate.
Grim.
But yeah, and I think they're really kind of. Yeah, they've mixed the elements perfectly here. Where with the last album, it seems like they tried to mix it up a bit, and they're not bad albums. The last two that they've done. The Hunter and Once More.
I would actually say Hunter is one of my favourites, but
see, I would disagree. I would definitely disagree. I think Crack the Sky is like was their pinnacle.
Yeah.
And then...
But you can. What's interesting is you can hear there's a clear change of their direction. So you went, Blood Mountain, then Crack the Sky, and then they were like, right, fuck it, let's do whatever. And they came out with the Hunter, and then they've kind of followed that sort of lighter sort of side with a bit of trying to get sort of hooks, make the songs a little less weird, and they've kind of come back to doing this, trying to mix both of them. So it works really well.
I think they've been trying to get this because they wanted to try and go for a more poppy kind of sound, a more rock and roll feel.
I think they weren't bothered about like the heavy stuff quite as much.
Yeah, well, they brought it back in this, but they really wanted to be a rock and roll band, and I think they've just been kind of trying to find that sound, and I think really they have found it with this. I mean, when I first heard it, I was like, "What are you doing?" Like, I didn't really enjoy it. Listened to it a couple of times and I was like, mate, this is like
the riffs.
Mate, I think actually compared to Crack the Sky, which is my favourite, I think this is a close second for me out of all their albums. Matt's gonna listen to this and be turning in his grave. He thinks it's fucking.
He's like, Blood Mountain.
You're not a savage anymore. You don't listen to the good stuff. You just. No, for real. This is
Remission FTW
quality album. Yeah. And I think they really kind of stepped up the game. Surpasses the last two albums for me. So
I definitely think as well they, because I mean they've had some softer stuff as well. They've only got one on here that's kind of like a little bit Jaguar God. That one's very good. Kind of reminds me a little bit like the Joseph Merrick, Elephant Man stuff they were doing from before a little bit.
Yeah, I can kind of see that.
Yeah. So that's I think the Jaguar God that stands out for me. Steambreather as well, just because
Ancient Kingdoms, like the hook in that is just powerful. I mean, the only thing is, I think that Troy's old vocals when he's doing the hard stuff always is like preferable to me because I just love his like gnarly vocals. But on this, it works very well.
You find that it's not quite
sound,
as
really.
It's not as harsh as like when he started doing vocals, mainly on like Remissions and Leviathan. There's still quite a few. There's a couple of songs on here where he does have some of that grit back in there, which is quite nice. Because as I say, the last two albums it was kind of not as quite as predominant as much really.
Yeah.
So that's quite nice. I think Roots Remain as well. I think is also a very good one, just because of like Brandela's like catchy hooks in the chorus.
Brandela's singing, man, is like
that
guy is a god. Oh man,
they're all ridiculous musicians.
So good. I think the thing is they take the best bits from a lot of their albums and their styles and just really focus it on this. Like the song structure is simplified, but they still have all these crazy like.
Oh, some of the riffs are weird. And
it's so weird. Like I said, from the Leviathan kind of stuff that they were doing, but it doesn't go to a point where it's so crazy that it detaches from this kind of rock and roll feel.
That's
it. They just made a perfect
into.
rock and roll album.
A lot easier to get into than some of their other stuff, that's for sure. So I actually was thinking about this, like if I was going to recommend, I mean there's quite a few albums I could recommend, but if someone said, oh, how do you get into metal, I would probably recommend this as a good starting point, because it's got some heavy bits, but it's got some of the other stuff that I think is more listenable from what you can get from like rock and some of the more pop feel about it. And then you've got, Brent Hinds and his like crazy solo.
That literally, style. I think he's kind of like a Jimi Hendrix of the metal world. Like he's just, his solos are crazy. I think there's maybe one solo on this album I'm like, maybe it could have been better, but and that's actually on the first song. But the rest of the solos are just madness,
ridiculous. And the thing is that he makes them up on the spot. He didn't really write them.
Well, he did that with Crack the Sky. I don't know what he.
How
it was with this, but
still, like the fact that he can do that and it's just crazy. But definitely I would recommend this as like an album to get if you weren't sure. If you aren't about, obviously, it's going to be a bit lighter. Recommend picking it up. But definitely if you're trying to get into like the heavier stuff, this is a good starting point.
Yeah, and I think even if you already like the heavy stuff, and you like something a bit proggy, as long as you're open-minded, this is a great album as well. Like we love all the heavy like death metal and things, and the Remission album and that. And I think this really does stand up. It sounds totally different, but if you're okay with listening to something with a bit lighter, but still got that raw edge, I think this kind of really hits the nail on the head, really. So, yeah. And before we start ranting too much, I think we should leave it there. Excuse me, because usually we go on for like 45 minutes, an hour, but I don't even know how long this has been. What?
Some amount of time.
Some amount of time. So this has been some length of time. Anyway, so that's our review of the album. Fucking sick, mate. Fucking sick.
Buy this album.
Yeah, or steal it.
Whatever. Get your hands on this album.
Alright, we don't have a finishing thing. We have the clapper to like. What do we do to finish?
Blam.